Is free grace a license to sin? You've heard it a bunch, right? I know that I have. So supposedly, free grace is some kind of sin pass. The claim is that if we teach grace is really free, I mean really, really free, then we will be inadvertently encouraging people to sin, since they will no longer have their feet dangling over hell. Now, while on the surface, this has attracted a lot of people to the Lordship salvation concept, the false implication that's hidden within this statement is actually pretty dangerous. Why is that? Well, it's because it's exactly what a self-righteous person would say. And yes, it is possible to be saved and then become a self-righteous person. You didn't trust yourself for your salvation. But it is possible to think that everything after your salvation is your responsibility and no one else's. I kind of grew up in this mindset, actually. See, it was sort of like I thought that I got grace for salvation, and then I just had to work really, really hard after that point, that it was all on me and had nothing to do with grace. The idea seemed to be that there was no place for grace after I was saved. But that's not how it works, and I don't know why I didn't see that before. So when someone says, don't teach that grace is free, because that would be a license to sin, I want your self-righteous alarm to be blaring. Why? Well, while grace is the method by which we receive our salvation, grace is also an ongoing need. Salvation is a one-time event, but our need for grace is not a once-and-done transaction. So, don't just take my word for it. You ought to take the word of the Word of God. So, notice how in each of these verses they show that grace is an ongoing need. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. That's 2 Corinthians 12:9. Here's another. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help, not just on the day of salvation, but in time of need. Hebrews 4:16. Here's another. But he gives more grace. Therefore he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. That's James 6:4. So, do you notice that in each of these verses, grace continues to be given on a regular basis? Grace is dispensed in an ongoing manner. And in our time of need, we need grace. In our daily lives, we need grace. And that's a good thing. So, let's just take a second to analyze the mindset of a person who says we should not teach that grace is free because that would be a license to sin. By making such a claim, they are implying that they have no need for grace in their daily lives. This is just incredibly ridiculous. It's just absurd. They are implying that they have stopped sinning without the use of grace. It's unthinkable. They are implying that they don't need grace even today. How self-righteous is that? Remember, God resists the proud. So not embracing grace daily likely means that you will find yourself as a pride addict, and God will resist you. God will discipline you and me for that kind of mindset. I don't want to be in that situation. I want to embrace God's grace, and I want to do it every single day. So is grace a license to sin? Well, whether it is or not, it seems a lot more healthy to me to focus on the fact that we all need free grace. Not just the day of our salvation, but every single day of our lives. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with you soon.